Hey there, it's Zach. Today we're going to be doing a 60-minute sprint to see if we can achieve this goal, creating a web-based application that allows a user to play rock, paper, scissors. The application should allow a user to choose rock, paper, or scissors. The application should generate a random throw. The application should respond with a page indicating whether the user has won, lost, or tied, based on the application's sign. Okay. And for you GitHub lovers, we're going to need a master branch and a feature branch with a pull request. It's going to be 60 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a timer. Timer's going. All right. So to start, I think I'm going to work on the functionality first, then get the UI, then plug in the functionality to the UI. Then some stretch goals will be making it look good and having a feature branch. All right. So first I'm going to work on this functionality. I like to use REPL. It's an environment that you can use within Chrome. That's what I'm going to use to iron out my functionality. So for those of you that don't know rock, paper, scissors, you have generally 3 choices. So I'm going to set an array of choices: rock, paper, using dot notation. Oops. And let's say scissors, for those that guessed it. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to define a user input. We're going to change that at a later point. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to look inside the index of choice. I'm going to want to use some math. I think math is built in to REPL. Yeah, it is. Awesome. Math.floor, then math.random. This might seem familiar that those have used it in the past. For those wondering why we use math.floor instead of math.ceiling, it's because indexes start at 0. So you want 0, 1, 2 rather than 1, 2, 3. Cool. Let's go ahead and do a sanity check. Paper, rock, cool, rock. Good to know. So that works. So now let's create a function that takes an input. Use some ES6 syntax, look fancy here. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I want to define what the computer is going to choose. The reason I put this inside of the function is I want it to change, right? Because I don't want to know what the computer does every time. So if I do computer choice, run it. Oh, right, I haven't called it. But while we're here, I'm going to do you choose using input. For those not familiar with this, you can do inline literals this way using this backtick. It's the button to the left of the 1. Pretty fancy. It's a lot better when you have multiple variables later than using just a whole bunch of plus signs. That gets pretty crazy. So what do I want to have here? I want to have if. It's pretty standard. If statement, if input choice equals computer choice. Nice. So it's selected. I'm going to say, okay, you tie. So console log, you tied, yay. Then we're going to have more than one. So then I'm going to do an else if, and I'm going to say, how do I want to do this? I'll use index of. For those not familiar, this is a built-in JavaScript function. What it does is it gives you a value. So for instance, rock will be 0, paper 1, scissors 2. So I'm going to say the index of that is greater than the index of computer. Now that I think about it, it's actually the right order because scissors beats paper beats rock. So greater, yeah, okay, perfect. I didn't have to change that. So at this point, we're going to say if the index of input is greater than choice, wait. Computer, here's what we want. Computer choice. We're going to have to fix in a minute just in case they're both rock. You can't really go into negative. We'll fix that when we get to it. So then I'm going to say console.log. And this will say you win because it'll say paper beats rock, scissors beats paper. Then final for the else. All other situations will have occurred, so you lose is pretty fair. Let's back this up. Let's go ahead and call fight. Put in user input, see what happens. Input choice is not defined. Okay. So line 8, input choice. Right, what? I meant to say input. So you choose rock. Computer chose. You choose scissors, computer choose paper, you win. All right, that works. So what we were saying earlier, we also want to make sure that our right here, we're going to do and we need to say the index of is greater than 0 because that's when that error happens. So index of, yeah, it's going to be computer choice. So we want to make sure it's greater than 0. Cool. So rock, paper, lose. That's right. A couple of variables. Awesome. So it looks like we have the functionality. So, time-wise, 5 minutes. Not bad. You know, it does work on the console, so that's something to be said. Cool. So I need to create a web app. With this, I'm going to choose to do React just because I find it is the best. And this mkdcd, this is my own concoction. Just so you know, this is a mix between make directory and then cd. So mkdcd. I'm going to say rock, paper, scissors. Then I'll say create React rock, paper, scissors. All right, while this is creating, not sure how long it's going to take to download, but I guess I'll introduce what I'm going to use. It's called React Strap. Basically, it's a built-in library of CSS and that mixes React and Bootstrap. It's pretty fantastic, and you know, right out of the box, it gives you some just great components. That way, I'm not waiting around too long. So, and you know, the documentation is actually pretty solid. And you know, I have no stake in this company. I'm not trying to, you know, sell you on any product that I don't personally use. But I've been using this a while. You can really put up some quick websites. So I'm a big fan. Cool. So now I have rock, paper, scissors, the React app, right? So I'm going to cd into it. I like it. So first, I'm going to install this React Strap, React DOM. The React middle part was probably unnecessary. But what this does is node package management install. This -- save is going to save it to your package.json, which is kind of like a list of all the dependencies. That way somebody later down the line can come along, do npm install, and it knows exactly what to download. React DOM. The DOM is a document object manager. So if you ever look into a website, push command option I, you will see all these things. This is the document object manager, and it's just what the client sees and knows what to transcribe. That mail, always trying to make itself relevant. All right, while this downloads, let's see. Here's an example. We already did create React app. They do it a little bit differently. They do it globally. I've already had it global. Right, so I'm going to install Bootstrap. This would be, oh, okay, I was going to say this would be very disappointing if this had froze because of the mail coming up. I've made jokes in the past about some of the built-in apps acting a lot like malware, but thankfully that's not affecting me right now. We're at 51 minutes. You know, I'm not too worried. I think we can still finish this with lots of time left. We have 60 total. npm warn. So with the new npm packages, you'll the new node, when this is done, you'll see something called audit, and it lets you know if there are existing warnings or flags out there in the node package management repository, you know, library that says, oh, hey, there's some issues with this. It's pretty fancy, but if you have a working product, don't just always say npm audit to fix vulnerabilities. It could break your product. So that's a little bit of a pro tip. All right, so next is Bootstrap save. I guess at this point I could speed up the video, but I want to leave it you know what? I just don't want to mess with it, just because I don't want to give the illusion or impression that any time had passed or there was any changes, any modification to the video. So I already did this. I'm not going to do that again. Right, so again, if you can read, you can succeed. Import Bootstrap CSS into the source index.js. So I like VS Code. If you don't, that's okay. Nobody's perfect, but you know, I think it's something to be said about how well it works. Save that. Import. Cool. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to say npm start. I'm going to see what we have. Right out of the box, this create React app will have a 49 minutes. A pretty decent, you know, single page app that has no functionality, but it kind of, you know, shows what you can do. Move our functionality. I'm going to start looking while that loads. So I decided just now I want to have a title. Let's go with an alert. And I want a card, I want a modal, and some buttons. Cool. Development server is still up and running, so that's cool. I don't know if you can hear, but my computer is kind of getting its butt kicked a little bit. So while that's starting up, I'm going to create a file called body.js. This is going to be what I'm going to import into my app.js. It also helps if you spell things correctly. That's another pro tip right for you. Import body from body. Let me get rid of this and just say body. Self-closing tags are a must. I'm not going to save it yet because I want you all to see. All right. So that's what we have now. So I'm going to save this. Nothing's going to populate because there's no body right now. So let's go ahead and get this. Right out of the box, it says you're going to see this information. Well, let's see if it's right. Close app, close index. We're not going to use those anymore. While this is loading, oh, okay, it does. Cool. So I'm just going to keep one at the top. I guess I'll keep that blue one, and I'll say let's play a game. So get rid of these. Let's play a game. Choose your weapon. Wary traveler. I capitalized it because it's going to be a noun. It's going to refresh. We have a web server watching for changes. It's pretty cool. So first, next, after this alert, I want some buttons. Let's get buttons. All right, so you'll see it's mostly the same, but you need to make sure that you do import what is needed. So I'm going to go ahead and put alert button there. I just pressed Command B. It formats it for me. It's probably it will work, but it might say like, oh, button's not used or something. I'm not sure. This BR is what you're probably used to, but just keep in mind you have to make it a self-closing tag now. That is not what I wanted. All right, so we're going to have 3 buttons. We're going to have rock, paper, scissors, right? I think green is success, and red is what, danger? Yeah. Can't have something that doesn't match, right? So that's interesting. My auto format now is trying to remove the bottom. All right, so no more auto format for us, I guess. Actually, let me just move this. So whenever you're exporting something, if you're only exporting the class, you might as well just throw it up here, right? Export default class. You know what? That was actually a bad choice. Here's what I want. So fun fact, again, a class is what you call a stateless component, or sorry, a const, whereas a class is what you can hold state. So that's what I'm going to do here. Div. What? There's like something, oh my gosh, everything is not working right now. That's right. We'll go back to working state and we'll just say export default class. Example. What is the... Right, no render function. Cool. So if I update body, save it, we should have 3 buttons populating. Cool. Right. Parsing error unexpected token. This auto formatter is really letting me down in my time of need. That's cool. So, all right. So rock has one too many. So now we have rock, paper, scissors, right? It's pretty exciting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, actually, let's do one more thing. Let's bring in a modal. So we're going to need button. I already have that. Modal header, footer, all this. So bring this in. Again, putting it in here. Should even trust my formatter. Oh, it did work, thankfully. I'll just go ahead and bring these props in. Props are properties that we pass down. Don't want that button. I'll just have this modal. Reload, see if we have a standard modal. Next, I'm going to put a card on the bottom. Cool. Doesn't matter, the button's not there. That's fine. So right now we have 3 buttons and a button that's going to open the modal. I'm going to work on the card while that's loading. We already have a button. So we have this that says, oh, hey, do something. Perfect. Starting to get pretty exciting. And at the very bottom underneath this, we're going to have a card. So let's go ahead and throw a card in here. I can already tell with this URL, that's going to get pretty crazy. So I'm going to take that out immediately. Take out this card image. Card body. Get rid of all this. Let's try that one more time. Everything's formatted. Make sure everything's working before pressing forward. Yes. All right, now let's see. Do we have subtitles, stuff we don't care about? Perfect. That's all we want right now. So first things first, we need to bring in the functionality. So with that, I'm going to go over and I'm going to copy what we have here. It's not going to be all the same. Let's check our time. Doing good, 41 minutes. So I'm going to put all of this in here. Let's say right above where we're going to change state. Anytime I have an array of information, I like to have it out that way, outside the class. User input's irrelevant, so we're not going to need that anymore. We're not console logging. Right, so get rid of all these console logs. And we're not going to call it right there. So first thing we need to do is we need to dictate how we're going to pass state, right? So with that, in here we have this this on-click toggle So I want each one of these to be able to bring this up. So first each one of these buttons is going to be able to toggle it. So I'm going to do on-click toggle something. Save this. That button should disappear, and then each one of these, after it loads, should open the modal. Cool. Cancel. Cancel. Perfect. Let me get rid of this. Do something. I'm going to say over here. Try again. Awesome. So each one of these works, right? But here's the thing. Instead of just toggling, I want to run this function. So how do I do that? I am going to set a function called onClick. Now, this is a built-in onClick that it's aware of, so I don't need to differentiate. But what I am going to do is I'm going to say, okay, when this onClick, I'm going to fire a function. It looks a lot like this. I'm going to use ES6 context, and I'm going to say onClick, and this is going to be a function I am going to define. Then I'm going to pass it something, right? And so I'm going to pass the choice, kind of how we said earlier. So then each one of these, nope. Here it's going to be paper. It's going to be scissors. Cool. So, right. So then we have our onClick, and then this, it does this dot onClick. Rock, paper, scissors. Fantastic. So what we need to do up here is we need to make an onClick event. I'm going to do this actually after the fight. That way if it gets called, fight will definitely be loaded. So I'm going to say onClick. It's going to take in this input that I'm passing via the onClick built-in functionality. All right, I'm going to say this.toggle. So this is going to call this function here, right? That's going to change the state of the modal. So that's first and foremost. Then we want to say this.state.user choice. So this is going to be what the user picked, right? So I'm going to say input. And then we're going to this.fight. And then it's going to be input again. So what is this doing? It's saying, okay, when we do onClick, we're throwing in this input of rock, paper, scissors. We're going to toggle the modal open. We're going to set a state that we're going to define in here at 1 minute. State is, a big data object that exists all the time. Then we're going to use this information to go into fight. So in state, first we need to set up a couple options, right? Well, I'm going to need to hold certain information. So first it's going to be the modal state. Then I'm going to want to have text, right? Because text is what I'm going to want to use later. Then we're going to want to have this user choice. Null. While we're at it, we're going to make computer choice. What else? Set a winner. No, we'll do that later. Yep, we do need a winner flag. Not winter. I just mumble a lot. And then if we get there to the stretch, I wanna set a score. All right, so score 0. Everything's toggling binding, perfect. Let's do a time check. 36 minutes, we're good. All right, so let's go to fight. Let's check fight. So computer choice, right? So computer choice is what we're going to want to keep in the state. So instead of let, we're going to now use this dot state dot computer choice equals choice. Still going to iterate and choose a random through our choice. So if our input, let's make sure we change every instance of computer choice, is now going to be this dot computer choice. Cool. So if that works, what do we want to happen? First, we want to change, let's change the winner state. We're going to say it's going to be false, because in this instance, this is the one where it ties. And tying is not a winner, no matter what your parents told you. My mom and dad lied to me. All right, so then we're going to say this.state.text equals you tie. Can't really do a console log, so we're going to use this.state.text somewhere down the line. We're going to find out here in a bit. Cool. So and then this is where we won, right? So this.state.winner equals true. this dot state dot text equals you win, and this dot state dot score. If we ever get to it, we're going to set to I don't know, this dot plus plus. Cool. That'll be again our stretch. Now let's work on the else. So this would be you're definitely not a winner, and you are the worst kind of non-winner. You are a loser. So let's see what it does. Input goes in, it looks good, makes a determination. We set the flag, false you tie, true you win, false you lose. I like it so far. We're checking on click input, we're toggling it open, changing input, input goes through fight. I dig it. Then toggle, let's make sure toggle's good. I like it. Let's save it. Let's make sure there's no errors. React is real good at catching errors. Cool. So we're still not using anything, but now we have this information that no doubt exists. All right. So with this, first let's get this modal. I don't want a title for body. One of the great things about React is I can just do something like this where it said, this dot state dot text or something. If I was to reload it, it would use whatever the text is. This escapes the fake HTML, the JSX. But I'm going to be a little bit fancier than that. So first, let's say let's do a paragraph. Let's just do nice and italicized, and we'll say you choose space. And then, what was it, user choice? Yeah, so user choice. How are we doing on time? 33 minutes, we get user choice. Cool. I want to make sure that this paragraph is after. I'm going to have 3 of these ultimately. I'm going to have your choice, computer chose, then winner. So I'm going to say computer chose, and then this dot state dot, what was it, computer choice? Yep. Then for the third, I'm going to say this dot state dot check, or dot text. Yeah. This dot state dot text. So ideally, it'll show user choice, computer choice, and text. See if we have any errors. We're going pretty well today. You lose. Well, rock. Okay, so things are at least working. Actually, you know what? I want to use this winner flag now. I'm going to show you something fun you can do. So you can do inline conditionals. So I can do this dot state dot winner. Remember how it's a true or false, so it's automatically in a position where you could use a ternary. So I'm going to say strong. Inside of that, I'm going to say congrats. Congrats. And then if not, I'll say null. I don't really care about anything else, just null. And then throw a nice BR in there. Update, save, let's see what happens. Let's see if when we do a win, we get a congrats in there. So it's different choices every time. I'm just having really bad luck. Oh, hey, I had one. Oh, well, yeah. Well, I had one win, so at least I had one congrats. That way we know it's working. So the bright news is, on the bright side, it's, 31 minutes to go, and we do have a functioning game. So I like it. So let's go to GitHub. I'm going to create a repository called rock. I'll just do RPC, create repo. Cool. Git what is it? It's, yeah, so it's git add. I don't care about the readme. So git add everything. Warning, another. Oh, goodness. I thought all my stuff was gone. That would just be the worst. All right, so let's try that again. Git add. Oh my gosh. Apparently there's some sort of repository issues. So we're going to have to do that at a later time. I mean, I have time, but that's not really the point. I don't want to lose people here. Yeah. All right, so that's cool. Let's see if that actually fixed the issue. Then we're going to say git commit first commit. Git remote. Gotta love GitHub. They give you what you need. There's no readme, but I'll do that at a later time. Refresh. We're going to see a perfect folder. Oh, what is it? Git checkout branch feature. No. All right, so now we're on a branch called features. Cool. So with this, what do we want to do? Oh yeah, we wanted to add a number here. Keep our tally. All right, I like it. So far we have all this. We have this card body. The text, yeah, first what I'm gonna do is just uncomment this score. So we have a score of 0. That way when it starts, initiates, it says the score is 0. Then in this win, every time somebody wins, we want the score to add. And yeah, we're gonna get rid of this button because I don't care about a button in the card. See if we can just directly do this dot state dot score. You know what? I do want to have a title on this card. That way we can just say what the score is. Can't have our user be unfamiliar with it. Our score. Nope. This isn't Russia. Your score. Cool. All right, so we have rock. So I lose. Right, I'm not doing too hot against the computer today. And it is randomizing. It's just paper, scissors. Yeah, goodness. Rock, paper. Rock, scissors. Rock, rock. Rock, rock. Rock, paper. Wait, hold up. That's not right. I chose rock, computer chose scissors. I do not lose. So, no wonder I wasn't winning enough, right? So, so rock, paper, scissors. Looks good to me. And you chose. Computer chose. All right, so let's check our logic. If input equals this dot state dot computer choice. This dot state computer choice equals choice. Okay, I still like it. Computer choice. This dot state winner. Not worried about these yet. Choice of input is greater than choice of state and choice of. Now, why is this logic not working for me? And this is greater than 0. One of these days I like to win one. That's not right. All right. Well, back to the drawing board. I guess it stands to reason, right, why we do testing, especially on a feature branch. That's a joke. So 25 minutes, we are fine. Let's take a look. This fight, the input goes in. If input equals this.state.computer, we're going to say this.winner is false. Text is util else if choice of index inputs, or index of inputs, is greater than choice of index of this.state.computer choice and choice.index of this.state.computer choice is greater than 0. So I guess we should think about it here and think as to why it's not working. It's rock, tie. Oh, that's frustrating. So my index is rock, paper, scissors. So index of input 1. Say I chose rock, it would be 0 if 0 is greater than let's see if switching it around, nope, that's not right. If switching it around will matter to see if it tries to run this first. Because I have a feeling that it's running the first option. Computer's cheating. All right, cool. So, and our score is not updating, so that's another issue. Oh, right, because I took away this .state.score. So I feel like what was happening was it was only reading this and it wasn't reading through the entirety of the else if, and it's in lieu of doing further conditionals of if statement inside of this else if. Oh, see, so that's interesting. If you notice, though, it updated first. So if we win, it updated. So we fixed our issue. We added a scorecard, albeit not a super great layout. Maybe we can get a little bit fancy, high tech, throw in a BR or two, throw in a line break. Whew. I know, it's pretty exciting. Throw it after these buttons here. Realistically, would I do this? Absolutely not. I would go into the CSS and modify it that way. So we have let's play a game, choose your weapon, warrior, traveler, rock, paper, scissors, with a score that does update before the modal, and that's okay. And it presents the score. So even running into a bug, we were still able to create this in React, commit it, and a second branch to GitHub. Feature branch of scores added. Oh, right. So git merge. That's actually, I'm not sure. Merge into master branch. See what comes up. This is what a developer does on a regular basis. Hey, look at that. It's already purple. Looks like I've done this quite a few times. So get out to origin, checkout master, pull origin test. All right, so get checkout master, get merge features. This current branch is features, no obscene branch. Guess I'm going back to that branch. So again, in 40 minutes, we were able to create this in React. It's one of the powers of React, I think. Instead of fiddling with smaller, what I call simpler independent languages, such as only HTML, then CSS, then JavaScript, we're able to use a framework and then add our own functionality. So if you have any questions or concerns, or you are interested in the repo, I'm going to have it in the comments, and then feel free to reach out. Thanks.